Well, folks, the time has arrived and the Stadia Pro games for June have been announced, and we have some good stuff to check out. We also have another free play days coming this week, and we have a couple of Stadia sales, including a game that is always highly requested. As always, hit that red subscribe button to always be up to date with all Stadia news. So we have 4 new games joining the Stadia Pro lineup for June, and I have to say I'm liking what we have been presented with. There's a bit of everything here for everyone. The highlight for me has to be Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. This is the turn-based JRPG that is very well liked and has been marked one of the better entries into the series. Now, there's a very in-depth story here, so if you guys are wondering, can I pick this game up without ever playing the previous ones? Well, they do have an interactive introduction for new players so they can understand the larger context of the story going forward, so rest assured you can definitely pick this one up and play. It's an awesome game and welcome for sure for Stadia Pro. Then we have the newest game on this list in Blue Fire. This is a game that I've looked forward to seeing on Stadia. It recently launched. It's a 3D platformer bringing in some of those Zelda vibes with a dungeon diving element to it, but the gameplay looks fantastic. Then we have Chronos Before the Ashes. This is a Souls-like RPG adventure that released in December of last year. Admittedly though, this one has come out to mixed reviews. The combat for me has always looked really slow, and I really never gave this one a chance just because the gameplay just didn't really catch my attention, so we'll go ahead and have a shot at this one here soon, but the game is still relatively new. And finally, we have MotoGP 20. This is a game that I covered last year on the channel. It's a decent game. If you're a fan of racers, this is certainly a different type of game, and it does feature a career mode that is pretty fun to dive into. Though I'm gonna say this, the game can be pretty hard to pick up though, I'll say that. Overall though, we have some solid titles here coming to Stadia for June. I'm pretty pleased because there really is something here for everyone, but I will say the continued lack on the Word of Ark Survival Evolved has been a bit of a bummer, and I would love to hear some news on what has happened to that game. So Stadia, if you guys are listening, please go ahead and pressure those developers, but otherwise I'm not going to let that damper the news of the June Stadia Pro games. I do personally look forward to diving into Blue Fire and Legend of Heroes, and let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on this month's Stadia Pro lineup? And with that, guys, we got another announcement for another free play days, and this time the game featured, of course, is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We've seen this a couple times now. The game is already on sale, and starting on May 27th, 8 a.m. PT, all the way to May 31st, you can experience the game completely free if you're a Stadia Pro subscriber. I'm gonna say this though, Ghost Recon is a fun game. I love it, but it's not the best Stadia port. Visually, the game can be one of my least favorites, so I would love to dive back in and see if any improvements have been made. But otherwise, the game itself is fantastic if you're interested in. Hop in, you can play with your fellow Stadia players. And finally, we also have some Stadia sales. These are really starting to blur in together a bit for me, because we tend to get the same sales a lot, so sometimes I can't even decipher which sales are new and which ones are not, but we definitely have some new ones here. The 2K titles are on sale. NBA 2K21's at around 20 bucks. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is around 16, but one game that I hear a lot of requests for is Red Dead Redemption 2, and this is one of the games that I've put in the most hours on Stadia. It's coming in at $40.19 or $59.99 for the Ultimate Edition. I do recommend the game. It has received some post-Stadia patches in regards to visuals. It has a visual mode at 4K 30 FPS or a performance mode that's going to be at 1080p 60 FPS. Online lobbies do have Stadia players, and the single player is a blast, and this is a game that you can really spend hundreds of hours in, and it's a game that will definitely take your money far. Overall, guys, though, I have to say this has been a good week so far for Stadia. There's definitely some highlights. We are also on the cusp of a lot of big games coming this summer, and hopefully we get some announcements and dates for games like Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor that are supposed to come this June. So good stuff overall, and let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts on the June Pro games, the upcoming free play days, and the Stadia sales? I always read your comments, so right below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, like the video if you can. I'm Sunny, and I'll see you guys in the clouds.